Cormac Bates 161796668. So this is my week 4 monologue entry. So I suppose building on last week, what I've done for this week is I've more so just built on the feedback that I received on last week's submission. So I kind of realised that last week I was maybe doing more research rather than sort of building on initial ideas. So I kind of wanted this week to maybe focus it more what it is I'm trying to both make and also the issue that I'm trying to solve. So maybe I had left it a little bit broad. I wanted to make it a little bit more focused for going forward. So I've just kind of done an extra bit of research similar to what I done last week, but maybe in a bit more in depth this time, as to what's out there already, maybe the issues that are around these products that are out there already. And also then I've kind of focused more on, rather than having a very broad disability, which was I think physical disability, I've kind of focused it down more now on someone maybe that's suffering from a disability that affects their movement. So I've kind of gone with, I think, arthritis in this case. I've kind of had a bit of, as well as that, I've kind of had some personal, should we say, dealings with this before, so it's kind of easy for me to relate to it and also be able to design an artifact that can, you know, focus on the specific needs of this person. So what I've kind of done here then is I've just sort of again looked at what are already out there, a lot of which I had last week as well, but looked at them in more depth now in relation to someone maybe struggling with arthritis. So just here on the left hand side I've started to look at the traditional way of getting up on a horse, I suppose, is singly from the ground, and that obviously is going to be a struggle, as I mentioned last week. And I've just gone on to say there, like things that are out there already, stirrup extenders aren't really going to help someone that has a limited range of motion. Also then, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards designing, would be a mounting block that is going to address that main issue of someone mounting the horse. Now, what I'll go on to say later is that my kind of first draft of my design brief has left it broad again, because I wanted to make this a little bit more open to multifunctional designs rather than having it specifically for mounting the horse. But this is the first part of my research which I've looked into, because it is kind of the main issue which I'd hope to address, as well as having the artifact suitable for other functions. So I've kind of just gone on to say there that they're normally kind of big stationary objects, and then looking below that I kind of found that a lot of ones that have been made portable or collapsible, kind of, they compromise the stability of the artifact in this case, for obviously in an attempt to make it easily moved around, which is something that I don't want to compromise on, because dealing with someone with a disability, they need the stability of the object and can't really afford to have it falling over or being unsteady underneath them. So then this is just kind of an initial draft of sort of a design brief. So design and realise a sustainable and creative artifact which assists one suffering from arthritis to fulfil their passion for equestrian sport on a daily basis. The artifact must be both sturdy and portable, as well as multifunctional. So the reason I kind of went with that is I didn't want to limit the brief to the artifact being something that can help someone mount a horse like alone, you know. So my kind of thinking on this would be that my design will kind of help someone not only mount the horse, which would be kind of the main aim, but as well be of assistance around the yard if they need to step up in something too. Because just looking there, like at the first one, what I've kind of expanded on is arthritis there, and like did have a decrease in strength, decreased range of motion and limited mobility. So my kind of hope is that the artifact, as they're saying, will help them around the yard. So reaching things high up, or even working on the horses, people pulling manes and things like that, that they'll have this as a step rather than attempting to reach up high, or they'll have to kind of hold their arms above their head, doing things like that, so that this artifact can be a help throughout the yard rather than just mounting the horse. Also, I was hoping that it could be integrated into a domestic setting also. So, maybe like if you look there, pain and swelling, I was thinking just simply it could be used simply as something to elevate, because I was looking into arthritis, and when the swelling does occur, they often would recommend elevating the legs and things, so I was hoping that it could be maybe even used in that sense, as a footrest, or for elevating the legs indoors also, or again indoors as a step, like for reaching things off high shelves and things like that, or if they were maybe even doing some renovation work, painting, anything like that, that it could be used in all of these situations rather than just singularly to mount the horse. Then I suppose I've kind of just elaborated on some of the key words there that I took out of the design brief, and sturdy and portable, so strong and durable. Could look at making it collapsible, lightweight, because as I say there, looking back at arthritis, decrease in strength is going to be a main factor here also, and needs to be easily carried so that it's not a strain on this person to move around when needs be. So going forward now, this week I kind of want to, I suppose, push on now a bit and get my problem statement finalised, and then I want to move back, which would be my way of thinking. I want to move back and start looking at initial ideas. I want to do a little bit more research into the needs of someone with arthritis, and also maybe the kind of different functions that I could use the product for, I suppose. And then, as I say, finalise the problem statement and then move on to my initial ideas.